Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up in your Sunday newscast. The PLP leader accuses the government of fumbling the vaccine process. A PAHO official weighs in on her thoughts of the emergency orders ending. 30 junior doctors could soon be heading to work. Plus, the singing bishop and the natural empress hitting a high note. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Georgia Bain. Topping news tonight. Amid a dwindling supply of vaccine doses, opposition leader Philip Davis is accusing the Minister administration of fumbling the vaccine process. Our Jasmine Brown reports.
The Progressive Liberal Party leader was adamant that the government should have done more to secure additional doses of COVID-19 vaccines. He says if they had been more proactive, there would be no shortage of vaccines.
We as a country, we are far behind most of these regions for vaccinations. We are advised that the COVAX program was only designed to provide about 20% of your vaccination needs. So why are we just still depending on COVAX? We only get 20% of it.
The shortage of doses has impacted the program, forcing officials to scale it down. On Thursday, the National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee announced the suspension of first doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine until the arrival of additional doses in the Bahamas. The Bahamas is scheduled to receive 33,600 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine before the end of July through the COVAX facility. Davis says the Bahamas should never have been placed in this position.
Right, we should have been sourcing other vaccines from day one. And we are way behind.
The Bahamas has received 92,200 doses of AstraZeneca. 20,000 of those doses were donated by the Indian government, 5,000 borrowed from Antigua and Barbuda, and the remaining were secured through the COVAX facility. As of July 10th, 97,992 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine had been administered in the Bahamas. More than 60,000 people had received at least one dose of the vaccine. A total of 37,689 people have been fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the vaccine. 15% of people in the Bahamas are partially or fully vaccinated against COVID, according to a recent United Nations situation report. The report also noted that the Bahamas has one of the lowest percentages of people vaccinated in Latin America and the Caribbean.
We are encouraging people to be vaccinated, but yet we don't have enough vaccination to vaccinate people. I know that persons have turned up to be vaccinated and was turned away because they were told, well, you don't have an appointment. And there's only one vaccination center now, I'm advised. So at the height of this Delta variant that's now raging.
The Bahamas has reported more than 13,000 COVID-19 cases since March 2020. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Weeks before the state of emergency is expected to end, the PAHO and WHO representative to the Bahamas is advising the government to hold on to those measures for a little longer, as herd immunity has yet to be achieved. According to Dr. Eldana Basson, a premature move could land the Bahamas in a dangerous place.
So it is a very long time. And so it's not surprising that people are fed up. People want to stop this way of life. They want to get back to what they used to do before. But we have to hold on a bit longer. If we were to just drop our guard at this stage, when we do not have herd immunity, not just in the Bahamas, but globally, even if we were to have herd immunity in the Bahamas and we don't have it outside, we're still in a dangerous place.
The Bahamas recorded 100 new cases of COVID-19 on Saturday, with 83 of those reported cases here in New Providence, according to the Ministry of Health. It's the first time since October that triple-digit case numbers were reported in a single day. Another concern is the development of additional COVID-19 variants, according to Basson. She says as the tourism sector begins its rebound with global herd immunity not yet achieved, emergency health measures are the only thing that will stop or slow the transmission and prevent the introduction of new variants.
We've been hearing about new variants coming up. the virus changes itself. It's what the virus does. It wants to survive. And so viruses change themselves all the time in an effort to be able to survive. And the more the virus is circulating, being transmitted from person to person, is the more likely we're going to have more and more variants. And so we absolutely have to keep these measures in place to make sure that we can curtail transmission and try and prevent the introduction of new variants.
Poisson says while she sympathizes with residents, emergency measures must remain in place.
The very last thing we would want is a variant that is not responding to vaccines. Quite fortunately, we do not have that situation, and that is not a situation we want. Otherwise, we're right back to square one. So it really is important to stick to those measures. It may seem harsh, it may seem like we've been doing this for too long, but if we let up now, we could be back to square one.
Amid a staff shortage and personnel fatigue at Princess Margaret Hospital, over 30 junior doctors remain at home as they wait to be brought on to the Public Hospital Authority. Health Minister Renwood Wells told our news that he expects that those doctors will be brought in soon.
We have made a commitment to hire doctors, those who have qualified themselves. We were here last year, as you remember, and we hired all 33 of those doctors. We are in the process of assessing that particular circumstance, especially where the fact that we do have need, and the government will be addressing that issue over the next 2 weeks.
PMH is said to be at capacity with COVID-19 patients, with the emergency room now only dealing with emergency situations. A doctor who wished to remain anonymous says that you can definitely feel it as the COVID-19 units are bursting at the seams, with small teams of physicians left to deal with 100+ patients. Wells acknowledged that there is fatigue among healthcare workers at PMH, with many working through their vacations and days off.
I just want to really thank the healthcare workers, the nurses, the doctors, the support staff, the EMS persons who, we go through one wave, there's a lull, we're able to get back on track with the other issues in regards to health, and then we began to see a surge, and then we have to ramp up, and folks spend their overtime and vacation time basically addressing and seeking to keep the Bahamian people safe.
With an alarming number of COVID-19 deaths reported last week, a local infectious disease specialist is encouraging residents to get vaccinated, as she revealed that none of the recorded deaths were fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
We're keeping a close eye on the vaccination status of our admissions and the people who don't do well from COVID and die. And I can share with you that the data we have is that persons who did get hospitalized, more than 98% of them were unvaccinated. There were a few patients that had 1 dose of the vaccine, very small number, and there has been nobody who's been fully vaccinated at our site that has been hospitalized or died.
According to Dr. Nakia Forbes, the healthcare system is beginning to feel the pressure of the third wave. Public Hospital Administrator Mary Walker recently revealed that the hospital has reached capacity for COVID-19 patients. Forbes says this is undoubtedly affecting service at the facility.
So the healthcare system is at capacity at this time in terms of healthcare workers in this third wave, in the third wave surge. And we have seen that hospitalizations have gone up tremendously, especially in the last week or so. And we have to remember that when COVID is overwhelming the healthcare system, there's fallout from that in the simplest terms. And so what that means is that regular care is impacted. However, persons who do not have COVID still need care.
Amid fears of new strains emerging, Forbes says it's time to ramp up vaccine awareness programs.
Hesitancy against vaccines is not new. So in COVID-19, there seems to be even more hesitancy. And there are a lot of reasons that people have expressed as to why they maybe are waiting or making up their minds about getting the COVID-19 vaccines. And so some of those include, I want to get more information, concerns about the idea that they were developed relatively quickly. Some persons are concerned about side effects. Some people think that getting COVID-19 is not so bad that I'll get over it, or that if I've had COVID before, I don't need to get a vaccine. And so it's very important that we raise awareness.
Well, still to come on our news weekend, why one labor official fears that unemployment numbers could rise again. The details when our news returns.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
You're watching our news weekend. Welcome back. A top labor official warning that unemployment numbers could increase once again if the state of emergency measures ends. He says that it could force many employers to make tough decisions on whether to lay off furloughed workers.
It's a possibility, and the possibility is that once the emergency orders come to an end, employers have, based on the law, 30 days to make a decision if to make those persons redundant formally or to bring them back to work. I know for a fact, particularly in our tourism sector, that many hotels are not up to par.
With the state of emergency set to end in August, major employers are now facing a big decision, according to Chairman of the National Tripartite Council, Robert Farquharson, who says provisions that allowed employers to keep workers furloughed will also come to an end.
The government, through the emergency powers, issued an order that extended the provision of Section 28C of the Employment Act, and that has allowed employers to keep employees furloughed or laid off more than the 90 days outlined in the law. Now, it is based on recent news reports. The government intends to bring the emergency powers to an end sometime during the month of August. So 30 days after the month of August, employers will have to make a decision. Indeed, if they will bring everybody back to work or if they will lay people off. That's going to be a mammoth task.
Farquharson says it will all come down to funding. With the tourism sector continuing to rebound, he added that tough decisions will have to be made.
Employers have not been able to generate any revenue for the past 14, 15 months. The economy has not bounced back sufficiently yet to bring persons on a full-time basis. So there again, the concept of consultation must take place. Employees may have to come back to work on a reduced work week until the economy picks back up. So there has to be ongoing discussions with government representative, employer representative, and trade union representative to come up with some sort of a national policy.
The NTC is encouraging employers to be flexible.
Obviously, the unemployment benefit assistance program that the government has been paying for the past few months will have to come to an end as well. The budget indicated that there is sufficient funds, I think, for that program to go on up until September. So that in itself will come to an end. So all of these are issues that have to be discussed and unresolved. And this is our country. We have to work together in our country that all, both employers and employees, are happy.
Bahamians who have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19 outside of the Bahamas are now able to register their vaccination status online through the vax.gov.bs web portal. According to the National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee, this would enable the government to provide a more accurate account of all Bahamians and residents who have been vaccinated for the local and international reporting of COVID-19 vaccination numbers. Those vaccinated abroad can visit the site, hit the Register Your Foreign Vaccine Only button, complete the questionnaire, and upload their vaccination card. Officials say they will not receive a local Vax Pass, but will be included in the database as having been vaccinated. Well, still to come on our news weekend, Cable Bahamas upgrades the Family Islands. Plus, what happens when the natural empress and the singing bishop come together? Find out after this.
Every new season of On the Record, we push the limits. Venture into unknown territory. We take our cameras into places unseen before. We share the stories and experiences that affect us all. And now it's time for Season 5. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on RTV Cable Channel 212 and streaming live on Facebook on the R News Bahamas page.
Cable Bahamas is decommissioning its old analog TV services across non-digital islands and replacing it with satellite subscription service. Up until last year, Rev TV clients on Andros, Exuma, Long Island, San Salvador, Berry Islands, Inagua, and Bimini only had access to basic analog TV. Since November 2020, when Rev HomeSat launched in Maguana, Alive and Rev TV have been upgrading Cable Bahamas customers to the new subscription service. Alive CEO John Gomez says that they regret customer complaints on San Salvador and immediately reached out, adding that he is confident that these were isolated cases, as the rollout to date has been very successful. Gomez said technicians and Alive customer experience teams arrive on each island at least 6 weeks before the decommissioning is scheduled to take place and months in advance for larger islands. The Natural Empress and the Singing Bishop teaming up for a back-to-school extravaganza. The gift bag taking back in the Coconut Grove community as hundreds turned out to receive their packages.
So 5 items in total. We do have to follow COVID protocol. Commissioner has advised that of 10 minutes to do what you got to do, and then we're going to ask you to exit and allow another 10 to come in. All right, so with that said, people of God, are you ready? Yeah!
Dozens of residents lined 2nd Street, Coconut Grove, just outside the International Deliverance Praying Ministry, to partake in the Natural Empress Give Back Extravaganza. Alive tents were filled with men, women, and children's clothing and shoes, groceries, and school supplies. Mahalia Rule was grateful for the much-needed items.
Good day. I'm here to be blessed. However, God blessed me at this beautiful gathering. I know that a lot of people, not only me one, but all who come will be blessed. And I just thank God for the opportunity to be here.
Ms. Mackey, who attends the church, said it has been difficult surviving the last year without any income, but she is grateful for persons like the Natural Empress who help her to provide for her son.
It was rough for me because you don't have a father. I don't collect no national insurance. I just started collecting social service. It's very hard. And I lost my contract. I lost everything, but I still have God. And I thank God for life.
She shared what she was looking forward to the most from the give back.
Probably school things, and I can tell you the truth of both children to go to the food store, shop.
David Smith says that he is ready for the country to return to some form of normalcy. The senior citizen says he is fully vaccinated, and now he'll be using his new clothes from the give back to find himself a job.
I just come to pick up a couple of things, but I ain't out. And God bless me like to get what I want.
Some things that you don't have, like what are you looking for?
Like shoes, tennis, good help for anybody who need it. Yes, I appreciate it.
The Natural Empress says she welcomes the distraction that the give back provides, and she plans on using it to honor the memory of her parents.
Of course, my birthday is twofold. It's a celebration of my life and the celebration of my parents' life. And I thought it was pretty much initially a distraction for me because it's a very hard time emotionally for me. So I had to think of a very crafty way of kind of distracting myself from what I truly feel at this time of year. So I thought, as this is something that my mother would have instilled in me always to remember to give back. And hence I thought this was an opportune time to do exactly that.
Chef Jay also came out and prepared a meal for the residents in need.
We've been asking, I must admit, I kind of impressed myself today, but it's simple. So we got some veg rice, some nice sauteed rice actually pretty much. So stir-fried rice, we got some grilled jerk chicken, we got fried chicken, we got macaroni, we got veg. And if I can get it done in time, I have a surprise for everybody else. It's amazing. It's like to help people, feed people, make sure everybody's comfortable because people need help. No matter where you are, no matter what community you might be in, everybody needs help.
And we're counting down the most memorable quotes of the week. That's coming up in our News Weekend returns.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow our TV originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch our news Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to our TV originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
Welcome back. You're watching our News Weekend Edition. It's time to take a look at the most memorable moments in news this week. In at number 3 is the Minister of Health's suggestion that the state of emergency could end next month.
State of emergency ends on August 13th. If there's going to be any change to that, obviously the competent authority, the Cabinet of the Bahamas, would have to come back to the Bahamian people to say so. Right now there's no discussions about changing the fact that the emergency order ends on August 13th. In order to be able to do that, I do believe under the law you would still have to go to the House of Assembly, and the House of Assembly doesn't meet until the 22nd of September. We would have to call an emergency session. The Governor General would have to call the House of Assembly back into session to be able to do that. But as it stands now, we're moving forward as we would have intimated in the past, which is the emergency orders ends on the 13th of August.
And at number 2 is the Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis, who responded to rumors of a snap election.
There's no doubt that the tea leaves read that the Prime Minister is about to call a snap election. But you have to ask yourself, why would what I call a power-hungry guy give up 9 months of his term? And my take on it is because his back is against the wall. They're having a hard time getting people to lend them money for their budget. As you recall, there's a $10 million debt. There appears to be no plan as to how to manage that debt. And that will cause the marketplace, the money marketplace, to be jittery to lend further monies.
And the quote of the week comes from taxi driver Tyrone Saunders, who said it's time for the downtown straw market to reopen.
I agree, totally. I think it's time we do get rid of it and get the space back open and running. In the tourist industry, we're hurting real bad because the straw market is not open. These people coming up this cruise ship here today, where do they want to go? To the straw market or to the beach. I work from the Bahama Hotel and from the Paris Island Hotel. Where do they want to go? To the straw market. The straw market has been the foundation of this tourist industry in downtown Nassau for decades. We need it back open, and we need it back open ASAP.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Giorgio Bain, and have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.